Mike, and I work with a company called Beige. I used to be described as youth until my gray started giving me away. So I have lost the right to be described as youth. I hope that someday, when I grow up, I'll be described as youth. The firm that I work with, Beige, is involved in financial services. We have come a short way. We have investments in banking, pensions, insurance, and funds management. Our subsidiaries include a company that we believe is quite known to a lot of you. That includes Beige Capital. That's one of our flagship products. But we also do funds management and blah, blah, blah. But that's boring. The most important thing is 20 years ago, I was like a lot of you. I was proudly youth. I was in an institution called UPSA. It was called IPS at the time. Now they call it UPSA. And I had a daily routine that saw me living life regular. Wake up in the morning, you go around, chat with your friends, go sit under some tree, do wache, and ordinary life. I didn't have any dreams. And when I say I didn't have dreams, I'm telling you the truth. Why? Because I think dreaming is significantly separate from thinking. We think every day. You think about what to wear. You think about what direction to take to school. You think about what call to respond to. Those are regular, everyday thoughts. But dreaming is a process of ushering yourself into another realm of your thoughts where you explore possibilities. Most of your thoughts when you're dreaming are fictional. They're not practical because you can dream about things that would never even happen. That's why I say with emphasis and truth that 20 years ago, I did not have dreams. But today I have. So it's very normal to hear that people at a certain age or a certain stage in their lives don't have dreams. But when I look at how my life has unfolded, at December 1998, when I left IPS, all you wanted to do all the time was find a job. And in IPS, we had role models. I recall that a man or a guy at the time who was a role model to me and my colleagues was called Eddie. And I'll describe Eddie to you. Eddie was short, round, nicely dressed guy all the time. Very sharply dressed guy all the time. And he taught us, I don't remember, he taught us accounting and I think quantitative techniques. Accounting and quantitative techniques. And Eddie used to work in a firm of chartered accountants called Fiajo and Associates. And every one of us, about 10 of us, and probably a lot more persons in the group that offered ICA and ACCA, wanted to be like Eddie. But it makes a lot of sense because at the time, in my horizon, Eddie was leader. And then another kind of person that we admired was a gentleman who worked with NDK Financial Services. So you could see that our aspirations at the time were just about a step or two above us. that was the time when I didn't really want to be like Sam Jonah because he's quite distant for me. So the person that I aspired to be was Eddie. And between me and Eddie at the time was just a gap of about 6 years. So it was fairly reasonable to want to be like Eddie. Then my life rolled on, went through national service. I got engaged with a firm called Deloitte and Touche. Was every day go to work, get a salary, hang out with your friends, do a lot of vice, like everyone. I'm not a saint. Do a lot of vice, just like everyone. And even at that time, you still have no dreams. And then because of where I come from a family that I say is less than privileged at the time. Less than privileged. So it means that when you use the scale to gauge what privileged means, and you say is less than privileged, in fact, I would say less than average. Less than average. So at that time, what your aspirations are is just how to sort yourself out for the day, go about your day. So I would say that until about maybe 10 years ago, or maybe about 8 years ago, I never had dreams. I just had to live and fend for every day. But when I see how my circumstances have transformed, just because at a point I took hold of my life and said, no, start doing something right. And then every day began to mean something to me. And I started thinking beyond today and thinking farther than tomorrow. I realized that I started shaping my own destiny. And today, if I had my way, I will be 35 years. But I'm not. I turned 40 last year, and I'm graying increasingly. So I tell myself, whoa, if I had the benefit of time, it means that it is possible that I could have done twice what I'm doing today. So then the question is, what stopped me? Was it out of ignorance? Was it because I didn't have information? Or it was just that I was stuck lazy? It is for this reason that me and my friends think where we sit in the context of the rest of the world. Just this morning, let me give you some statistics. We have a program that I have to participate in next week. And we are talking about entrepreneurship in Ghana. Now, we've done a survey on the top 500 companies in Africa. The top 500 companies in Africa. About 126 of these come from South Africa. Ghana, I think South Africa is followed by Egypt or so. I don't have it clear, but South Africa stands out. SA has about 126, and could it be more? Followed by Egypt and Nigeria. Ghana posted 3. Let's clap for ourselves. And of the 3, 2 are state-owned. 1 was a person originated. Let's clap for the Minister for Finance. If we have to pull this statistic again in 2030, the narrative should be different. I make sense? The narrative should be different. Unfortunately, if I am growing at this rate today, then by the time we pull the statistic in 2030, I may not be in a position to be driving and daring so we can post Ghana on the map. But if we are able to infect a certain generation and provoke a certain generation to think that it is their commission to change the narrative, then it is possible that in 2030, when we're reproducing the lists of the top 500 countries in Africa, Ghana may have a respectable pool amongst them. The people that can deliver that to us are youth. Yes. The people that can deliver that to us are youth. And you know, the beauty of this is if we don't drive a sense of audacity and a sense of agency in our youth, there's going to come a time when we will be so marginalized, we will be irrelevant. I believe that there could come a time in this country that even our streets will be owned by foreigners, and you will pay tolls to foreigners for using the street. We are committed through the network of me and my friends to inspire a generation of provoked youth. Youth that want to revolt positively against low-mindedness. And a youth whose intention is to drive and produce things that would not only restore a sense of pride in themselves as individuals, but would guarantee a heritage of pride for their children and their children's children. That's the reason behind Aspire, and possibly a lot more that the Beige Foundation would introduce to you. My thoughts and my intents are clear. I rest my case for this morning. Thank you very much.